So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining the call. Right. Yesterday we had some doubt clarification session, right? And some new students took part, right? So just quick recap regarding the first module, right? So I want you all to take part, right? I want these sessions to be more interactive, right? It's not like just I'm the only one who is going to speak all the time, right? You are sitting on your laptop, correct? And you have the resources. Please try to search out on Google, right? Try to be more interactive. That will be help in improving your understanding also, right? I want you to take part in these discussions also, right? So can anyone tell me about what are the different types of cyber crimes?
Phishing, there was
Malware.
financial fraud, intellectual property.
Yeah.
Go on.
Hacking, phishing, malware attack,
Ransomware, data breaches.
Can anyone explain what is phishing?
phishing is like an email
Sending,
message and taking details from your data.
Specific? Everyone open
like
up your
sending,
cameras also.
like sending lottery emails or promotional emails,
Right.
which brings the attention of the person and is intent to share the personal details.
Exactly. Ranjita, can you explain what is cybercrime? Hello, Alian. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ranjita, can you explain what is cybercrime?
No, I can't.
Any other?
Is encompasses the technologies, practice, process, and procedures intend to the protect network endpoints, programs, applications, and data from attack intending to the case damage or gain unintentional assets. The terms refers to the both the information security technologies involved as well as the business process surrounding them.
See, you don't have to search.
Good morning.
In simple terms,
Yeah.
like doing through the digital technology, like devices and everything, cybercrime.
Yeah, as
I can say, sorry.
Yeah, carry
Yes?
on.
Yeah. I can say that in simple terms that it is the attack on individual devices like computers, laptops, and phones from the viruses and hacking type and such kind of things, like which is called as cybercrimes. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, right, Priyanka. It means that unauthorized access of the data with the help of digital devices, right, can be termed under the cyber attack, right? Cyber crimes.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
anyone explain what is CIA tried?
CIA is a
Yeah, you just asked me yesterday. Sorry, I just
Okay,
forgot.
yes.
and availability.
It's sorry, confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
Can anyone explain what is confidentiality?
It's not exposed
It
for one specific of people, authorized people.
Yeah,
it's
which
about
includes
the
personal privacy
Oh,
or information.
policies, threats, and like crucial components which are included.
Confidentiality is something which data has been stored co- uh, in a confidential purpose, and if it's broken, um,
right. Confidentiality. Your data remains secure. Your data remains confidential
yep,
from unauthorized access. Right. Correct.
yep.
So integrity.
Integrity. I would have yesterday. I just forgot to write.
Yesterday I
Actually,
explained
sorry.
practically
Yeah,
how
I forgot to
we
write
can
actually.
ensure
I have to
that
write.
the integrity of the data.
Um,
Integrity. So that's like
Integrity.
Yeah, Alian, go ahead.
that's like making sure the data is trustworthy and making
Exactly.
sure it's authentic, accurate, reliable, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much integrity. Just gotta make sure it's all reliable.
Reliable, right? Ensuring that accuracy and completeness of the information, right?
Mhm.
That it ensures that the data is not modified or tempered from the unauthorized users, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So are there any mechanisms through which we can ensure that the integrity of the data? Anyone?
Using hex code.
Right, exactly. Using hash code.
mm,
Any other?
mm.
Using the like seeing the logbooks, I guess, seeing all the records which is
Right. We
logged.
can ensure that the audit
Yeah,
logs.
yeah.
Right. Whenever you are signing some agreement, right? How whenever you are doing some kind of agreement, how you ensure that the two parties are bound to follow this agreement? How you ensure? How it is? How we can say that these rules are applicable to these parties? You are signing
We
something. You are in terms of
Making
paper,
unique
right?
code.
You are signing some documents, right? So digital signature, you might have heard about it, right? So with the help of digital signatures, you can also ensure that the data is that you can ensure and maintain the integrity of the data, right? And what about availability?
it's the same, like both parties should have the information provided so they can verify it. If I'm not wrong.
Oh,
Verify the
availability. Data must be
Available to the
available,
users. Yeah.
right? So for example, you have you have your Netflix infrastructure, right? Netflix has bigger what we can say, the data center, right? In order to maintain all the digital contents available to the users, its users, right? So for example, just imagine that the server crashed down, right? So what they will do are all the digital resources will not be available to all the users, right? In case of any failure or server crash down. So what they will do, they will provide, what they will do, they will we can say that they will create an load balancer, right? They will create another backup server, right? So whenever there is a failure of a main server, all the traffics are diverted to the backup server, right? So that the resources are available to all the users in terms of any failure or crisis, right? So this is all about it is all about the, what we can say, the availability, right? So I have one example of how we can maintain the integrity of the data, right? So I'm showing you one practical example of integrity, right? So
Bharat, excuse me, actually. Can you
yes,
please raise your volume, if it's okay?
is it audible now?
It is, but sound is very low. Can you please raise some volume? Like the volume of your device?
Now is it audible to you?
That's
You're
great. Thank you.
still facing the same issue?
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, fine. So I'm showing you an example of how we can maintain the integrity of the data, right? How many of you attended yesterday's session?
Yeah, me myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me stop sharing the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So, for example, I have one folder, right, which contains some data. Right. So, for example, in folders there are some files. Right. In files, let me open up one text file. Right. It contains. Let me add. Data, right. This is some kind of data which I had in my text document, right? So what I'll do, I want to maintain the integrity of this data, right? So what I'll do, I'll generate. We will be using the hash codes, right? You might have aware about, in order to maintain the integrity of the data, we will be using hashing mechanism, right? So I will just go to my hash calculator, right? For now, any kind of hash calculator. Let me. Yes, this is the one. Right. So here, what I'll do, I'll upload the file that I have, that data, right? So I'll browse that file, right? And to desktop, that I have one folder called my data, right? And just added this file. I'll click on hash, right? We'll just what we can say, focus on this MD file, right? So I'll copy this hash value, right, and put it in a what we can say, just hash one, right? Now I will try to modify that data again. Try to generate the hash code of the same file, right? Data one. I take this data, right? Save. And again I go to my hash calculator, right? Refresh this page. I will upload that file from here, right? The data which I modified was data one, correct? So I just open this file here and try to calculate its hash value.
I guess we just have to write something else in there because they are not taking the file.
Saved it.
The minimum was 5 MB in this, so maximum, or the maximum uploads, I guess.
See, hash code will be always the same, right? And for any platform you can use. So now here right. So if you compare this file, right, in both the hashes, the file hash values are different, though the file names are same, correct? So for example, if you are investigating a case, right, in which contains the highly confidential data, and that data can be used in as a evidence in a court, right? So as a forensic investigator, what I'll do, I have collected the data and stored it, and I have those evidences I have submitted to that investigating officer, right? So for example, that investigating officer tried to modify that data, try to delete some information from that data, right? And he tried to tamper something, right? So at the time of hearing in the court of law, when they find that some kind of tampering is happened to data, right? So at that time, this straight away the investigation comes to the forensic analyst, right, who is collecting the data from the digital devices, right? So what they will do, they will again come to forensic analyst, right? So what I'll do as a forensic analyst, I will check. I have already stored the hash file of that data in my database, right? So I'll take that data, I'll take that copy of hash code and compare the hash code of both the files, right? If it is same, then data is not tampered, but it is different, right? So we can say that the data got tampered while we have submitted to that that investigating officer, right? So whenever there is uh, in bigger organization, they are maintaining their storage devices, right? So whatever data they gather, they also create hash code of that particular data, and they just store it in their database, right? So in
Correct.
futures, yes,
Sorry to interrupt you.
yes, please.
Who make this hash code?
And anyone can make. I can also make this hash code in my for my database,
Okay.
right? Correct. You see, I'll show you the hash code with making hash code with the zip file, right? So I have, for example, this is 5 GB of my data, right? This is my 5 GB of data, right? So right, I'll create a file of this data, right? And I'll just upload this file in this hash calculator. Launch hash, right? So this was the hash file, right? Okay. Again, what I'll do, I will try to delete some data from that folder, right? I will delete this file, data one, right? And just the file of this data, right? Now see what happens. Go to this escape. Yeah, okay. See, this is the hash code that I generated. See, this is the folder name are both the same. Both the folder names are same, right? But this folder contains data one file, right? And this folder doesn't contain the data one file. It means that something got deleted or something got tampered in this file, right? Correct. So in bigger organization, they have large number of data that is getting gathered in their company, right? So what they will do, they will create their own storage server where they will put all the data, create a zip file of that data, and also create a hash value, right? So hash value will be stored in that data, and the data will also transferred to that backup server or a storage server, right? And in future, if they got some data breach, or they want to get some data for investigation, right? So they will also making sure that the hash values are also properly maintained, right? So this is how integrity of the data is maintained. Correct. I hope you got idea about how we can ensure the, what we can say, the integrity of the data. Any doubts, any queries over here?
I have one question, like why there so many names, and what are the differences of that, like MD5, MD1, SHA? Does it mean anything?
Yes. See, this is the encryption method, encryption model, right? So MD5 is the wait, let me open up that. Yes. See, when I click on SHA-1, right, and this is the hash code of, see, MD5 is 128-bit hash
Okay.
value, right? SHA-1 is 160-bit, right? SHA-256 is 256 byte, and SHA-512 is 512-bit, right? So MD5 is 128 bit, right? So I'll just click on that and just look at the size of the hash value, right? If I click on SHA-1 and then launch it, see the size of this character,
Increased.
right?
Yeah.
Increased. So if I click on SHA-256, right? The size of the characters got increased. So the hash value depends on the complexity model of that particular algorithm, right? See, this is the
Alright.
512, right? So this is the complexity model. It depends on the complexity model of the what we can say the
Fine.
algorithm which we are taking, correct?
So can we, like when we were trying to just, critical data 1, can we use SHA 128 instead of MD5?
Yes, we
Or
can use. We can use,
okay.
right? So that whenever there is some kind of investigation happening, so instead of verifying MD5, you have to verify the SHA1.
SHA. So
Right?
there's no compulsion, like we just
It's
have to
not
use
compulsion, yeah.
for a smaller size, you have to use MD5 or some other names.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the first session was clear to all of you, right? The new students also, I think. Any
Yes.
doubts? Priyanka, Alian, where or no?
No, man, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Thank you.
See, if you have any queries, please interrupt me anytime, right? We'll sort out those queries. So this is the module 2 that we are going to learn about. It's all about the, what we can say, threat landscape, right? What are the evolving threats? How dynamic the environment is, and how we can say that the sophisticated attackers are evolving in the market, and they are trying new technologies, new types of what we can say the AI based, artificial intelligence based attacking models, right? In order to what we can say that they'll try to trick the user and try to get the unauthorized access of those data, right? That landscape is quite dynamic, right? And it's evolving, right? And evolving environment in the cybersecurity threats, and it there are various types, and there are various type of sources. There they use multiple types of what we can say. They will use the attacking methods, right? And apart from that, there is also a potential impact, different types of potential impacts. There is on the organization or individuals or government, right? So understanding the landscape is crucial for this developing the what we can say the effective cybersecurity strategies and defenses in an organization, right? So for that, we need to understand what are the different types of cyber threats that are coming in the market, right? So if you look at the what we can say the statistics, right, of the data of, right, 2022 to 2023, right, the rate of victims per cyber attack is quite increasing, right? If you look at the data of just simple ransom attack, right, ransomware attack, right? So if you look at this data, there is drastic increase in the impacted users, right? So in this is the data of 2022 and 2023, right? Which has the, if you look at the impacted user just for the for a single organization, right? And this count is almost 763, right? But in the same quarter in the 2023, it's increased to 858. But if you compare the quarter 1 and quarter 2 data, right? See, the Q1 data is 525, and the drastic increase in 2023, it's almost triple, right? So this is how dynamically the users are getting affected with the ransomware attacks in the in this cyber threat landscape, right? So it was there has been steady rise in the cyber actors, as well as the impacted users, and notably there are large number of ransomwares that are coming in the market, right? The other factor that impacts is the rise of AI-based, artificial intelligence based attacking models, right? Different malicious uses of to improve the tactics and techniques and procedures and delivery times, right? And the what we can, the landscape is vast. It doesn't affect any geometrical by bounds, right? So geopolitical conflicts such as Israel Hamas, and still the your Russia and Ukraine wars are still drawing the same attention to not only the activists, but also it's the state sponsored attackers are also increasing, because the government are also, what we can say, they are also sponsoring some what we can say, the cyber security organization, some cyber security agencies to gather some data from different countries, some defense organizations and all that, right? So this helps them to, what we can say, understand the massive increase in their targeting, the targeting and the supply chain, right? Supply chain management, right? So there is profitability in the cyber crimes, right? So they might use some ransomware claims, right? You might have heard about the what we can say. Let me show one report of my organization where my company was affected with an cyber ransomware attack, right? So what happened in that, the company's data almost got uh, encrypted by a ransomware, files like ransomware, right? Just a moment, I have that report. This is the one. Can you see on the screen?
Yeah.
The PDF
Yes.
document of the company, right? So this is the confidential, right? I am not authorized to see, authorized to present it to any of the training members, right? But still I'm showing this. So the ransomware was files like ransomware, right? So what it is doing, see, right? What it is doing, it's an encryption ransomware Trojan that was first reported in 2019, right? How it get executed, see. The files like ransomware takes victim hostages and demands some ransom. Ransom in terms of, it can be a payment or a Bitcoin or something like that, right? So the files like ransomware drops a ransom note in the text file, right? They read me to restore the file. See, this is the file which contains the, all your files are encrypted. Do not try to modify it. My email address is this and this, right? So all the files in my database, right, it was encrypted with this type of extensions. Have you heard about this type of extension? CLK, SHO, SHW, CPX, WMF, WPG, right?
Yes.
So these are the some random extension were provided to provided by that particular ransomware and encrypted all the file in random kind of extensions, right? So once it's installed, the files like renames all the encrypted files by adding file.file/ extension, right? So if your file has, if you have file name 1.jpg, right, it becomes 1.jpg.file/ and generate a random ransom message with this text file, this type of file, right? So actually once my laptop was also encrypted with all the files got encrypted, and this kind of note I got in my laptop, right? See how it is affected, what techniques they use by this files like ransomware. So first of all, what they did, phishing emails were sent to the user, right? So some kind of phishing. See why I'm emphasizing on you to learn about these type of attacks, right? Because if you know about the phishing, right, it becomes easy for you to find out the remediation steps for mitigating that particular attack, right? So for this is the ransomware, and how it got spreaded with the help of phishing email in the inbox, right? So phishing email contains some fake malicious website. It also contains some attachment documents, right? The installation script can be as macros means kind of document there in the that particular email, right? And the malicious in application installer. Once you click on that particular malicious website or on that particular document, the document might contain some kind of installer also, right? And the files like will launch an encryption engine, right? Once all prior modules have been finished running, it will probably use built-in list of target files by file type extension, which are to be processed by strong cipher, right? It means they are doing some kind of encryption model they are using. They will try to target the backups, database, archives, images, right? So while investigation, we could found that. So in order to remove some kind of this type of ransomware from our system, we need to start the system in safe mode, right? We need to go to this ms config and then boot tab, and then in safe mode we have to click on that. In boot tab there is safe mode option is there. We need to click on that particular option, right? And just click and apply. After that, we need to restart the PC system in safe mode, and we need to open up the appwiz.cpl, right? It will open up the registry and the uninstall option of that particular file, right? So if you go to this uninstall program, right, there is option called uninstall, and there is a software install called suspicious program. We need to uninstall that program. This is the registry. In registry, we have to go to this computer, HK local machine, software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, and run. In this folder, in run folder, there all, if our system got affected with a kind of ransomware, a virus or malware, we have to go to the registry, this folder, the software, Microsoft, Windows, and current version, and run. This folder always contains some kind of suspicious document, file with some kind of extension or something. We have to delete that particular file also in order to remove this from our system, right? So if you know that the phishing email is phishing, if you know about the phishing technique, you can design the, what we can say, the remediation steps, right? First of all, we need to disconnect the endpoint from the network, right? Disable from the official networks and log out from all the storages, ensure the files are accessed, sent outside, right? Also ensure that the backups and critical files are ensured and files can have been maintained. Do not try to open up any type of extension in that, right? So that this is the, what we can say, the immediate actions needed to be required by the user, right? And these are some permanent solutions, right? If you have understand the phishing attack very nicely, you can design this type of, these are the steps designed by me. This report was created by me and submitted to the client, right? So that's why they have mentioned here, see, confidential document, right? If you want some this type of reports, I will share it with you, but not this document. I will document in a Word or Notepad file and submit to you, right? So that you can also utilize this for your study purpose, right? So let's, okay, right. After 10 minutes, we will take a break off. Right? So what was that? What was the topic that we are discussing? Ransomware, right? Right? Malware. Can anyone tell me something about malware? Alian, you might have some idea regarding that.
It's the virus.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. Yeah, it's like a program or file which intentionally harms a network or server.
Right.
And yeah, there's many different types of malware. Stuff like obviously ransomware. You said one of them, that's the type of malware.
Right.
Trojan horses, computer viruses. These are just a couple of types of malware.
So see, if you look at the word malware, right? So it is made up of two things, right? Mal and ware. Mal means malicious, and where it comes from the software, right? So it's a malicious software which is intentionally designed to harm the networks or systems or an individual data, right? So there are different types of malwares, right? It's a viruses, can be worms or a Trojan horse or spywares or adwares, right? So viruses are the, we can say that it's an malicious software that get attached to the legitimate programs and spread through the programs, which whenever the programs get executed, right? So you might have heard about the viruses, right? You might have heard that your pen drive data got corrupted, right? So these are due to some kind of infection, virus infections or something like that. Worms are the, what we can say, please note down these points, right? So that it can be helpful for you to study and research about these keywords, right? So worms are the standalone malicious programs which get replicates automatically in the client environment, right? If it's designed, it's programmed in such a way that if a single file in your program got infected with worms, it will automatically replicates, and they will try another another files also get affected with that kind of that worms, right? Trojan horse are the we can say the legitimate softwares often created some kind of backdoor, right? We have also designed one tool in the Python programming language, right? Which, so the tool is all about, we have created one image file, right? .jpg file. Whenever we can send that image file through WhatsApp or in email or through anywhere, right? So if it just look like an image on your desktop, right? But when you click on that image, it will open up that image, but in backend, it will open up a backdoor, right? It will open up a port for the unauthorized access for me, right? And we can execute any kind of script on that. We can execute the SQL injection, right? I can send it malicious software through that window or that port, right? So Trojans are working in the same way, right? If it got affected with you in your system, it will create a backdoor, right? It for unauthorized user, and unauthorized user can do anything with your data, right? Ransomware we just described, right? How gets installed in our system, and how it infects all the data in our environment, right? Spyware, right? Spy means to steal something, right? So spyware is the data, is the software or a script designed to steal the user information, right? And the last one is the adware, right? Adware is the whenever you click on some random website, you might have seen that unwanted web advertisements are coming on your screens, right? So these are called the adwares, right? So whenever the unwanted if you click on those unwanted advertisements, you might be affected with this type of viruses and worms and all that, right? So you have idea about the phishing. We just discussed, right? We have our environment is already just the report that I discussed is all about the phishing email, right? Because one of the user in our company got a phishing email. He just clicked on that particular link, and the files like ransomware was spreaded in our environment, right? So for phishing, there are many types of phishing techniques can be used by the attackers, right? First one is the email phishing, right? We just discussed about the email phishing. Second thing is the spear phishing. Spear phishing means it is targeting the targeting phishing attack and aim at specific users or specific organization. So for the phishing emails are designed in such a way that, right? So for example, they might have, and suppose I got a mail from a bank, right? Bank of America, right? So if you look at the spelling of Bank of America, BANKOFAMARICA, right? So sometimes what they will do, they will try to trick some spellings, right? Where R something look like the N or America or something like that. This type of link are sent through spear phishing, right? So it is designed for specific individual, bank user, or specific organization, right? So this is kind of, we can say that spear phishing, right? Social engineering. Can anybody is having idea? Social engineering. We have discussed in the last session also. Harsh.
I don't remember social engineering.
Social media, it's just same as this.
Yeah.
We have discussed the example of advertisement that we have seen on Instagram.
By the Instagram or any
right.
other platforms. Yeah.
So we are just collecting and following the user, right? We are what we can say, stalking someone to get more and more information, right, Alyan?
Yeah, it's just manipulating and lying to a victim in order to gain control, pretty much, and steal information.
Exactly. Right. So we might be using some techniques like pretexting, means creating a fabricated scenario, right, by gathering all the information, pretending to be that particular user and divulging the information, right? So pretexting is the one of the method through which social engineering can be done, right? baiting, right? Baiting is like offering something, what we can say, anti-sign to trick victims through accessing malicious website or download some malware and all that, right? So these are some social engineering techniques that can be used by the, what we can say, the attacker to get more and more insight into the particular user and pretending the other people to be that particular guy and tricking them, right? Tricking the victims to open up some malicious website and download some malware and viruses on their system, right? The fourth one is the denial of service attack. Can anyone explain me denial of service attack, DOS attack?
I think this is the one where like there's so much traffic directed to like a website or something, right? That it like
Right.
purposely, so it just crashes it entirely.
Right, exactly, Alya. Right. So whenever, suppose in an organization, you are using your server for accessing the resources, right? So what an attacker will do, the same way, in same way, whenever you are trying to access the resources, right, in order to do your daily task, attacker will try to send more and thousands of requests on that particular server, right? So that the legitimate user of that particular organization will not avail those resources which he is accessing, which he wants to get access, right? So due to which the server gets crashed down, the server gets busy in what we can say, in serving the unwanted request and all that, right? So this makes the services makes unavailable to the legitimate user of that particular organization, right? So this is the denial of service attack, right? Last one is the advanced persistent threat, right? It means that the attacker is trying and attacker is using some kind of advanced techniques for sophisticated attack on the organization, right? So it targets the cyber attack where attacker infiltrates a network, they trying to disrupt a network of that organization, right? And remain undetected means remains hidden from the environment and trying to steal the what we can say, the sensitive information, critical data of the organization, right? So this is how the advanced techniques can be used by the attackers to steal the information from the organization, right? And last one is the insider threats, means there might be some company employees or contractors or business partners who try to use their data and access those data and harm the organization. Sometimes they also reveal the trade secret of the organization, of the company, right? So that trade secret can be used by the other companies in order to manufacture or replicate the goods in the organization. If you remember, if you imagine, right, like the Adidas has its own process of manufacturing, right? Own process of what we can say. But if that process is revealed to the outside organization, right? So what's the value of the product of Adidas, right? So these trade secrets, securing these trade secret, it becomes critical in an organization, right? So insider, there might be some kind of insider threat in the organization, employees, contractor, or business partner who try to misuse those data and try to what we can reveal that data in front of those the unauthorized users, and that in order to ruin or big losses to the organization, right? So let's take a break of 10 minutes, right? And we'll come back again and we'll discuss more about the different types of what we can say, the source of the threats. Not much, 2-3 slides are there, but yeah, very informative and very interesting, right? So please, let's may come after this 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes
Thank you.
break. Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello.
Back again.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So the source, right? So far we have discussed right about the type of cyber threats. What are the sources? This time you are now going to be more deeper into the cyber security, right? So you might be feeling like the topics are getting repeated every time, right? So you might feel that, but the topics will get revolved around these things, right? So did you get any it's all clear, right? Different types of cyber threats, malware, phishing, social engineering, DOS, and ATP, and
Yes, boy.
insider threats, right?
Yeah.
So now the cyber criminal source, from where uh, these type of threat actors get motivated, right? So there are several things. First of all, the first is the, we can say that the cyber criminals, correct? So we can say that in threat landscape, which is very dynamic and evolving environment, right? So there are lots of cyber threat sources that are coming. Okay, so first one is the cyber criminals. So cyber criminals are, we can say that these are the individual or group of people who might be involved in illegal activities. You as the word suggests that it's a criminal, right? So they might be involved in some kind of illegal activities with the help of internet, uses computers, mobiles, laptops, right? What they will do, they will try to find out some vulnerabilities in the website of the company, right? And try to exploit that vulnerabilities in the system or network, try to find out the loopholes to steal the data of the company, right? Which may lead to in the disruptions of the brand building, getting unauthorized access of the critical data through malicious processes and all that, right? So we can say that the cyber criminals are the group of people or individual who might be engaged in the illegal activities, right? So so the companies are also using some bug bounty programs, right? Where the cyber specialist comes into the picture, and they will try to find out the loopholes in the system and try to exploit it. But these are not the cyber criminals, right? They will do they will try to match up the requirement of the company, try to find out the loopholes and try to exploit that. That will help the company to build up the robust solutions, strong solutions for the company to secure the network. But cyber criminals are not so like that. They will try to do something illegal activities without the permission of the company, right? Without the permission of the user, and try to access or steal some data, right? So that can be hackers or fishers or scammers, right? So if we talk about hackers, right, so in terms of cyber criminals, so there are three types of hackers that are in the market. First is the black hat, second is the white hat, and third is the gray hat, right? You are going more deeper into the cyber security route, right now. So what white hackers will do? White hackers will will try to find out the loopholes into the system with the permission of the organization, with the permission of the owners, right? Without permission, right? If they are doing it without permission, that can be termed as a black hackers, right? So white hackers, with the permission, they will try to find out the loopholes and fix the security vulnerabilities, right? And the black hat hackers are the users, right, engage in malicious activities, personal gains without the permission, causing harm to the organization, right? So these are the black hat hackers. The last one is the gray hat hackers, right? So it is, we can say it operates under the gray area. Sometimes we can say that it under the vigilance of the government authorities, right? Ethical standards, but not necessarily we can say that these are the malicious users or they are doing with the malicious impacts, right? So these are operated, gray hat hackers are operated under the vigilance of the government, right? They are monitored by the government. So the intents may not always be the malicious, yes, but yeah, they will try to also improve the security posture of the company, right? So this is all about the cyber criminals, right? We can also term it as a cyber terrorist, right? They use the cyber attack to instill fear. We can say they will cause disruptions to the government property, public transport may get disrupted due to that, right? Advanced political and ideological agendas are also get fulfilled with the help of cyber terrorists, right? There might be some criminals which can be termed as malware distributors, right? They will try to create some viruses, worms, ransomware. They will spread through phishing emails in the user, across the users, right? And they will try to what we can say infect the users computers, and also they will they will do their own for their own financial gains and all that, right? They will try to do some data breach attacks, or they will, these are all about, we can say that the cyber criminals, and their activities can be a data breaches, ransomware attack, and financial fraud, denial of service attack, right? We already have discussed like the motivations behind the cyber crimes, right? They will do this for their financial gains. We can say that the political agendas and ideologies is also a motivation for them. Also some kind of revenge for personal relationships and all that. So these are also this is also kind of we can say the motivation for that. And the corporate abstinence, which can be a competitor might engage in the cyber criminal activities, right, to gain the business advantages, to steal the business processes, to destroy the brand building and all that, right? So these are some what we can say the cyber criminal which are significant threat to the individuals, organization, government bodies, right? So understanding their methods and motivations and types of threats they use is crucial for developing the robust solution, right? The second the source of threat is the activist, right? So what the hacktivists are, who are the hacktivists? Hacktivists are also a group of people who knows that, who uses the hacking techniques to promote their political agendas, right? So the term hacktivism is for like is made of hacking, and the second term is the activism, right? So hacktivists are typically engaged in the cyber activities that aim to draw some what we can say the attention of the issues. Sometimes they also involved in protest, right? They'll try to destroy the public properties, right? And you might have heard about some kind of what we can say, the kind of political discussion going on the internet, which goes viral and all that, right? So hacktivists are responsible those types of protest in terms of online as well as in public also, right? So their characteristics are like they have some political motivations, right? They influence the people for doing something, right, which can be against the law, right? They also use some kind of cyber tactics, right? We can say that denial of service attack, right, which we try to disrupt the services of the company, right, and making the resources unavailable to that the legitimate users in the organization, right? Sometimes they also involved in data leaks and online protests, right? We just discussed all these things, right? The third thing is the nation state actors, right? So nation state actors are the group of people who are run by the government, right? For, we can say that, the raw agencies, right, and CIA for the United States of America, right? So these are certain, we can say that, state-sponsored actors who are what we can say, involved in gathering the information. Hello, am I audible to all of you?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So state-sponsored, we can say that, involved in, sponsored by the government and all that, right? So these actors are typically part of, we can say, the military or intelligence organizations, which widely focuses on, we can say that, the range of objectives, which we can say that, info stealing the information of warfares about the equipments, right? And some characteristics are, they are the, we can say that, government sponsored and operate under the direction of the government and the national parties, right? And sometimes they also receive funding from those kind of we can say funding from the government for carrying out their activities and all that, right? You might have heard of seen this series of Fuzzy, right? There is one actor who has its own agency and trying to work with RBI under the financial frauds and all that, right? So it was sponsored by and what we can say, the political parties, right? The sophisticated capabilities is also their characteristics, means they will try to, we can say, they possess the advanced techniques, tools, right? And they are also expertise in zero-day vulnerabilities, right? I have explained the zero-day vulnerability in the first session, right? You might, if you remember that, right? Some kind of insider threats are, we just discussed, like we, in order to reveal the trade secret of the company, there might be some employees, or we can say that employees or contractors inside the company who try to reveal the trade secret of the company and disrupt the brand building of the organization, right? So these are certain source of the threats. And the last one, the one more is the, we can say that, organized crime groups, right? So crime group are, we can say that, it was organized in such a way that they have some specialized skills, and they have some tools and technologies, right, in order to perform some kind of uh, cyber attacks, right? These are the group of people who collaborate and engage with the illegal activities for profit and for power, right? Sometimes you might have heard that they want to spread fear in the public, right? They want to be on the top of their fear factor, right? That they will create their own brand of the hack by hacking the data, right? They want to, what we can say, they'll structure yourself in their in you public for what we can say, to operate across the nation's border, and often involve themselves in the what we can say, the criminal enterprise, right? So they build their own brand in the public for creating the crimes and all that, right? So they follow some kind of structured hierarchy, right? That they'll try to put some sign of their own group. Means these type of activities are done by these groups and all that, right? So they becomes leader at the top of giving orders to subordinate who carry out other tasks and all that, right? They also specialized in long-term operations. Means they'll try to, what we can say, aim to establish the long-term criminal enterprises, and rather than to we can say one-time crime, and maintain the ongoing operations which can span many years and decades to recover, right? So these type of long-term operations are also responsible for this what we can say, the organized crime groups. They will also, we can say that, the uh, avail violence among the people, right? And try to intimidate people for the, and use violence threats to enforce the control and eliminate rivals and protect their operations, right? So these are some characteristics that comes under the yes comes under the organized crime, right? The insider attacker are already discussed, right? We already just completed that. The point is mentioned 2 times in the slide, right? So these are certain source from where the threat actors are getting motivations for their financial gain or political issues. They'll try to utilize the public sentiments to prevail some fear factors in the public area, right? So these are some certain sources of we can say that the sources of cyber threats. Any doubt, any suggestions that you want to give, any points in your mind where cyber attackers are getting motivated for doing the crime? Any idea, any points that you want to discuss? Harsh, Yamini, Ranjita.
At the moment is okay, but if I'm stuck anywhere, I will ask you.
Is it clear to all of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are various methods used by threat actors to attack, try to get unauthorized access, right? Try to do this type of activities for their financial gains. So first one is the exploiting vulnerabilities, right? So what is vulnerability? Can anyone let me know what is vulnerability?
Is it like an area in a network where that can be taken advantage of, like a minor flaw that you can take advantage of?
Yeah, Liam, you're right. Anybody else? See, you are sitting in front of laptop, right? You can use your laptops and anything, type on Google.
Any weaknesses?
Exactly. Weakness is the most simple word we can say that. The dictionary meaning of vulnerability. Weakness is loopholes, right? So threat actors are utilizing the weaknesses, right? Suppose there is one server, right? And that server, in order to run my website, right, I have to open up certain ports so that my website may get my website can be accessible to the outside user, right? So in order to facilitate this, I have to open up certain ports, certain windows in my server, right? So that outside user can access my website, can know more about my business, and try to use my services through this way. This way I can grow my business, right? So that I have opened up a port which is called HTTP port, right? For example, right? So that now outside user can access my website. But what if I have not maintained proper security of that particular website, that particular port? I have not installed firewall. I have not installed antivirus program. I have not installed what we can say in intrusion detection system, SIEM or something like that. So consequences of doing this is my website will get available to the threat actors also, right? So we can say that protecting my HTTP port is become very critical. So it's a loophole for a threat actor to utilize this loophole and try to access your information, try to put some queries, try to put some kind of hacking mechanism and try to access your environment without your permission, right? So exploiting vulnerabilities means that threat actors are utilizing the weaknesses, the loopholes in your environment and try to get unauthorized access of your system, network, and data, right? So vulnerability is or which it can be a flaw or a weaknesses in system design, which can be configuration that can be exploited by the compromise the security, right? So there are different types of vulnerabilities, right? There can be a hardware vulnerability, there can be a software vulnerability, right? There can be a configuration vulnerabilities are also there, and there can be a network vulnerabilities are there, right? So in order to protect my environment, what I should do, I should scan my server, right? I should scan my network, right? Through which I can get all the details about the open ports, open windows in my environment, right? And after knowing that, what are the services running on those particular ports, I will apply a robust solution to protect my data or protect my network infrastructure from the threat actors, right? So knowing about vulnerabilities also becoming a critical part in terms of cybersecurity, right? So hackers are always motivated by this type of vulnerabilities and can easily exploit those type of vulnerabilities in the environment to get the unauthorized access, right? So they can try to perform DOS attack, right? They try to put unnecessary request on the server and make resources unavailable to legitimate user of the organization. They also try to perform some SQL injection, right? SQL injection means it's a kind of, we can say that malicious SQL code in the query that allow users to modify the database to manipulate the data in the database, right? They'll try to change the password, they try to change the username, right? They try to make resources unavailable to the legitimate users in the organization. Also, they try to run this cross-site scripting XSS we already discussed in the first session, right? Which enables attacker to inject malicious we can say malicious script into the web pages, right? Which can be used by the users that can trick the user to reveal their financial information, which can be revealed to the attacker, right? So this is kind of, we can say that the types of vulnerabilities can be used by the attackers to exploit the data of the user. Zero-day exploit, right? Zero-day exploit. Can anyone explain what is zero-day? Zero-day attack.
0 day is a vulnerability in which it's just unknown. So the person has no idea how to fix it, and has no idea that that vulnerability is there.
Exactly. Exactly. So time taken by a security specialist to fix that vulnerability till when the attack gets started on that particular vulnerability, and the security specialist fix that. So that time period is called the 0 day, because the person is not aware, is not aware about that particular unknown, what we can say, vulnerabilities, right? So this time period from the time period from when the attack gets started till the security specialist knows about that and try to fix that vulnerability, that is called a 0 day. So there are lots of 0 day vulnerabilities in the are present in the environment, right? Which might not known by the security specialist, right? So that can be used by the we can say that the attacker to disrupt the services in the organization, right? We can also say that it's a flaw, right? So it's an we can say that, how many of you have heard about this CrowdStrike and Microsoft incident that was happened recently?
It's in India.
No, not it's globally. Have you faced any we can have you faced recently that your train got cancelled out or flights they are
out, yeah,
few days back?
Yes.
Right, few days back you faced this issue in many parts of the United Kingdom, right? On airports also they are getting the handwritten passes for their flights, right? So this was, we can say that, the unavailability of the patch. So what CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity organization which safeguards the resources of the company, right? So they on what we can say, the quarterly or monthly or yearly basis, they are creating patches which is used to remove the vulnerability, mitigate the vulnerabilities in their environment, right? So there might be a issue that the engineer of the CrowdStrike, they might not have tested on their own virtual environment, right? Due to which that particular vulnerability, all the systems who got installed that particular patch, the services got unavailable to that particular, to all the users who have used that particular patches, right? So patch is also, so if you heard about that, you on monthly or quarterly basis, your operating system is getting updated, right? Why it is getting updated? The security department of the particular organization is trying to find out some vulnerabilities, got some data about that particular vulnerability. In order to mitigate that particular vulnerability, they have released a patch, right? And if you install that patch in your system, that vulnerability may not get be exploited in future, right? So patching is unavailability, no available patches is also a reason for zero-day attack, right? The zero-day vulnerability are also highly valuable in security community, right? It's especially in the black market, and also they can be sold in some. Just a moment, guys. Yeah, sorry guys for the disturbance. Right, so you might have got idea about the zero-day exploit. So unavailability of the patch or unknown vulnerability is also a factor of zero-day attack, right? And we can say that the high value of black market that can be sold on significant sums is also a characteristics of, we can say, that zero-day attack. Brute force attack. Any idea regarding brute force attack?
Is this the one where it's about the attacker submits as many passwords as possible that they may think of, and
Right,
they just systematically go through it?
right. Anybody else? Force attack. Any other? Come on, please make it interactive. It's very easy. Brute force attack. You might be using on daily basis also.
I
in
think
order to,
where we can use trial and error to check or crack passwords or logins.
exactly, Priyanka. We are using. Oh, sorry, Rashri, I guess. So you are doing some combinations of the characters. You are utilizing the combination of characters where you want to guess some passwords and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's we can say that the method of gaining access to account encrypted by the account or encrypted data by, we can say that, the systematic typing of all the combination of passwords and keys and encryption code, right? So for example, on daily basis, you might be using your systems, right? You might be logging into the system with a password, right? If you type a password and the system says invalid password, so what you will do, you will try to again put some another password, try to put a password again, and then you will try to access this laptop or your system, right? If you are working in a school, right, in order to access your database data of the students, you have to log in into your system, right? And after logging into the system, you can get access to your data of the students, right? So brute force attack says that unauthorized users is trying multiple combinations of the passwords, right? Multiple password combination of the passwords with your username. Suppose an attacker got my username from anywhere, from a company database, right? Now he wants to log in into the system with my username. So what he will do, he will try to put some password, right, combination of characters or something like that, and try to gain access of the system, right? So sometimes what happens, if the password is not getting right, you will be trying multiple password, multiple combination, right? In one of the slide of orientation session, I have shown you that how AI based and how this we can say that how this AI based attack is happening, and how the manual attack is happening, right? So let me show you that slide. Session, yes. Yes. If you look at this slide, see, time taken by hacker to brute force your password in 2023 and time taken by a hacker to brute force your password with the help of ChatGPT or AI based, right? So for example, your password is of 4 length character, right? So there are certain tools. We can say John the Ripper or Hydra. These are certain tools that can be used by the attacker to guess the password, to try the multiple combination of the password, right? So these kind of tools, what they will do, if your password is 4 length, it will instantly guess your password in few seconds, right? If it's numbers, then it get the access instantly. If it's lowercase letters, you can the password is getting instantly, right? As you increase the number of characters and as you increase the complexity of the password, the time taken is also increased, right? So for example, your password is 12 length character and its number, it takes only 1 second to guess that password. If you are combining that particular 12 characters with your letters, right, it takes only 14 hours to crack that password, right? Traditionally, it was before in 2023, before coming to AI, right? If your password is 12 character, if you are combining lowercase and uppercase letters, it takes 6 years to crack that password, right? If your password is 18 characters, right, and you combine some uppercase, lowercase, numbers, letters, symbols, right, it takes 26 trillion years to crack your password, right? After coming to AI, when AI is introduced in the market, right, see your 12 character password, right, 12 character password, it takes only 2 minutes to crack your password. See, here it is taking 14 hours. 14 hours to crack the password, and after introducing AI, it takes only 2 minutes to crack your password. So see the time difference of attackers to guess the password by combining, by applying multiple combinations and all that. See the time period of 18 character password is 26 trillion years, which contains the numbers, uppercase, lowercase, and letters and symbols. It takes only 79 billion years. This is 26 trillion years, and the time period is reduced to 79 billion years. So hardly we are using the 18 character password, right? We might be playing around this 10 or 12 or 15, right? So see, look at that, the capability of AI of guessing the password. This is called a brute force attack, right? This is the capability of brute force attack to guess the password of the system, right, and gain access without knowing the user, right? So there might be some different types of brute force attack. Simple traditional brute force attack, some dictionary attacks, there hybrid brute force attack, which is combination of simple brute force attack and the dictionary attack, right? So what is dictionary attack? So we can say that it uses the pre-compiled list, right? So for example, I am the user of an organization and attacker got my username, right? And what he will do, he came to know about that I am keeping a password like Bharat@1 1991, Bharat@ so and so characters, Bharat@ 123, right? So what attacker will do, he will create a list of these type of password in a notepad file, or create a dictionary of that file, and just fed that particular dictionary into the attack, right? And that combinations of password will take a few seconds to test all the passwords, right? And it will guess from that particular list of the dictionary, right? So this is called a dictionary brute force attack, right? So that they commonly in brute force attack, what type of website, what type of resources can be targeted, right? So first one is the login page, where we generally use the password on the login page to access our resources, right? So in login page, they will try usernames and password combination to get the access, right? So another thing that can be done with the brute force attack is encrypt, to get the access of encrypted data, right? Sometimes what we can do, we will encrypt data with some hashing algorithm and all that, and we'll try some possible keys to retrieve the data, right, and get the access of this. So this is also, we can say that the common target is the encrypted data, right? The third thing is the remote desktop protocol, RDP, that might be using. We are remotely accessing a server with the help of RDP protocol, and attacker may try different password. After getting RDP access, they will try different passwords to gain access of the server, and they will try to modify that particular data on the server, right? So there are several tools that can be used by the attacker. One is the Hydra, right? Which will we can say they take the HTTP request and try to guess the password on those particular protocol, including HTTP, FTP, and SSH, right? The second tool is the John the Reaper, right? So these are the widely used tools that can be used by the cyber attackers to get the password, to gain the unauthorized access, right? Hashcat and Aircrack is also some tools that can be used by this. So right, so in order to, so for example, what I can say, suppose I'm using a bank application, right? I'm using my State Bank of India account for we can say for checking my balance and transferring fund from one account to another account, right? So what I did, I suddenly I was getting a message, someone tried to access your account, right, from different location, right? And I got an OTP. Please don't share your OTP with your one-time password with unauthorized users, right? So multiple times I was getting the one-time password, right? But I didn't share. So I went to a bank and I asked the manager that I was getting these type of OTPs in my account on my mobile phone. Please block my account if someone is trying to access it. So the unauthorized user also got my username. He also got my password, right? But he could not get into my account. Why? Because I didn't share that particular one-time password with that unauthorized user, right? What this mechanism is called? What this mechanism is called? Can anybody have any idea what this mechanism is called? We have discussed in last session many times. Something related to authentication. Harsh, Yamini, Panjita, Rashri, Priyanka.
Authorization.
Alian.
No, I don't know this one.
This is called two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Without my authentication, without my one-time password or one-time code, the unauthorized users cannot get the access to my account, right? Correct. So right. So in order to implement two-factor authentication, I have told you the one method in your mobile which you can implement on it, and you can we can say that you can enforce two-factor authentication. How you can enforce that? Any way of enforcing two-factor authentication through your mobile?
Is it the same way like how WhatsApp uses two steps
Exactly.
verification?
Yes, right, exactly.
Okay.
It's like a two-step verification.
Yeah.
Two-step verification, right?
Yeah.
So in order to prevent brute force attack in my environment, right, I must enforce two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication on my account, right? So how I can enforce multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication? I can use in my mobile authenticator app. I've discussed 15 minutes behind this topic, right? Authenticator app, we can configure our email ID on our authenticator app, and once you share the code which I got on the authenticator app with that but on website on my browser, then only I can get access to my account, right? Authenticator app is the one process. One-time password is also a way of authenticating the users, right? Once the authentication process is complete, I'm getting what? Once I complete the authentication, after that, I am authorized to that particular resources, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Right. So authentication and authorization are, we can say, the vice versa process that is happening whenever you are trying to access some resources, right? So, for example, I'm logging into my bank website, right? I'm logging into my net banking website, and after 3 or 4 times or 5 times, my accounts get locked. Is it happening with you? Is it happening with you? If you are trying to access your Gmail account, and if you try 4 to 5 times wrong password,
Yeah,
right?
that happens.
That happens, right?
Yeah.
Right. So in order to prevent brute force attack, we can limit the login attempts. For example, I'm enforcing a policy in my company that after five failed login attempts, the account must get blocked.
Blocked. Yeah.
Right. In order to unlock that account, you need to contact your system administrator, and you can unlock the account. Right. So we can limit the login attempts for that particular user. Right. So one is the mobile authentication, two-factor authentication, limiting the failed login attempts. And fourth one is the most important, the strong password policies, right? The more strong password we have, the less chances of getting we can say that cracked by the attacker, right? So I'm also, in order to protect my user accounts in the environment, I'm enforcing a strong password policy that my password must contain uppercase, password contains lowercase, numbers, and special characters. And the length of the password must be 12 to 15 characters, right? So these type of policies must be implemented in order to prevent the brute force attack in my environment, right? Correct. The third fourth topic is the man in the middle attack, right? Though we can say that man in the middle means, suppose I am using some, I want to access some resources from the server, right? So I will put some request, right, on the server, and server will try to get some data, right? See, I'm showing you an example of man in the middle attack. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See. So this is my server. This is the user, and this is my web application, right? This is the server. So what I'll do, I want to access my website. I want to use some resources from my server. So I will put some request. Here it is the internet, right? This is what we can say. The internet layer is there, right? So I will put some request through internet to my server, this, and a server in return, whatever I'm logging into the system with my username and password, it will check and it will redirect me to this server, right? This is the process that we are for, that every client server architecture follows, right? There is one person in the middle who is monitoring me, right? He's checking that some Bharat is trying to log into this account and want to access the backend or database of the server. So what man in the middle attack will do? When I put some request on through internet, the attacker try to intercept my request. Means through with the help of internet, he will try to get my request, try to modify that request, and then the request is sent to server, right? When a server sends some data through this internet, the interceptor means the attacker, sorry, the attacker will try to intercept that packet, that data, and then he modifies that. He deletes some data, he's try to do something else, and then try to send the data to that particular, to me. Means the data which I want, it's not exactly same as the it is sent from the server, right? I don't know about that, who had done this, right? I thought that the data is directly coming from the server, right? But the man in the middle is trying and intercepting, tempering the data, and it is sending to me. This is called the man in the middle attack, right? So for example, I am using my bank website. I'm using my username and password and login into my Lloyd's bank account, correct? So what man in the middle attack will do, that interceptor will capture the session ID for my login. Once I log in into the system, it will create a session over here, right? So that session was captured by this man, this interceptor, right? So he got my session ID. Now this session ID, with the help of this session ID, this interceptor will pretend like Bharat. It means he is using my identity to access this bank website, bank server. Now once he captures my session ID, right, then with the help of session ID, my whole account details will get exposed to this middleman, right? He can do whatever he wants to do. He can transfer the money, he can transfer, he can do whatever he wants, because I have already provided authentication. I have provided one-time passcode or authentic with the help of authenticator app. Now this my identity is used by this middleman, and that can interact with the server and do whatever he wants to do with that server, right? So this is called a man in the middle attack, right? I hope you I hope you got the idea of man in the middle attack, right?
Yeah.
SQL injection, right? SQL injection, right? SQL, you might have heard about in the education, right? Structured query language, right? So that can be used, sorry. So that can be used in our database, correct? Is it like that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Think so.
Right. So SQL, structured query language, is used to interact with your database, right? So it contains the, we can say, you might have heard about the queries like insert into table name, update table name, like that, right?
Yes.
Right. So that can be used by the particular attacker. Those query can be used by the attacker to, we can say, to modify some data, to modify the username, to modify the passwords, right? So whenever you try to log in into the system, if you carefully look at the address bar, right, in your browser, you might see some kind of queries, right, with some question mark, some what we can say, is equal to null character, some kind of queries you can find on the address bar of your web browser, right? So at that point, attacker can use that particular address bar link, can change some values in that address bar and try to gain access of the database. Once he try to get the access of the database, he can manipulate anything. He can change the data. He can change the username and password, right? So SQL injection is a type of attack where attacker use or inserts or injects some malicious SQL codes into the through query through input values in the web application, right? And this allows attacker to interfere with the database with the help of queries, and gain potential unauthorized access to that particular database, which can be a harmful action for the company, right? So how it works, right? It exploits the SQL injection itself is the vulnerability, right? Itself is the loophole, right? Whenever you are trying to access your web database, there is something called database server in our infrastructure, right? We have file transfer server, we have database server, we have web server, we have email server, right? So number of servers we can use in our infrastructure, right? So whenever it comes to database server, the SQL injection is the in order to communicate the database server, I need to open that particular port, right, which becomes vulnerable for the SQL injection, correct? So here we can put some values inject some SQL queries, right? We can use like select star from table name where username is the username and password is the password, right? Or if you want to put some malicious input, like, so username is equal to user and password is equal to 1, right? It means it's a kind of we can say that it's a malicious kind of query, which browser or which cannot be understood by browser and reveal the data of that particular resources, right? So SQL injection can be executed in many ways, right? It can be a blind SQL injection, or it can be, we can say that, out of the bound SQL injection. so that at that time certain DNS request or HTTP request are retrieved from the data, which can be useful when the attacker cannot see the data response directly, right? So why attackers is using SQL injection, right? So they will use the SQL injection to bypass the authentication process, right? So for example, I am trying some random username and password, and I tried one query, select star from user master. User master is the table name, right? In order to access the user master, the username is admin and password is equal to 12345. So for example, attacker tries select star from user master, where username is equal to admin and password is equal to 12345, right? So that all the user data of the user master table will get displayed in front of that particular malicious user, right? Malicious attacker, and then it can easily try to drop the table, delete the table from the database, make resources unavailable to that particular user, right? So there are several prevention steps that can be taken with the help of several steps can be taken, right? So that you can prevent the SQL injections, right? So we can use parameterized queries, stored procedures, and input validation, right? So I'll take a few more minutes to wind up the session, right? So, and the last one is the cross-site scripting. The cross-site scripting is related to this, we can say, man-in-the-middle attack, trying to access the session ID of the particular user and getting unauthorized access of the user accounts and details, right? So this is all about, we can say that the mode and the methods of the attacks that can be used by the attacker to get into the system, right? Till now, if you face any doubts, any queries, any topics that is not cup of your tea, and please let me know, right? So that we can discuss it right now. Is it easy to understand for everyone?
Yep.
Is it the examples which I discussed with all of you are, I guess, easy to understand the scenario and the terminologies and all that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't just I can say that don't just feel like the 2 hour of session is enough for you to become a master in these topics, right? I want you all to search about these topics, research more about it, right? I want you to discuss a case study on daily basis, right? I want you to on daily basis, I'm going to make a practice of discussing a cyber attack or a scenario on daily basis to understand how you are working, how you are paying attention to the sessions and all that, right? So I'm not giving you any task for the today, but yes, I will prepare some kind of questions for upcoming sessions, right? On next Sunday, first half an hour is all about the brush up sessions. Well, I'm going to ask you the questions regarding the previous sessions and all that, right? And on Saturdays, I'm going to conduct doubt verification sessions. If it's an optional, but if you want to join the session, you can. And anyone who is free, they can join the sessions, right?
On Saturday.
Yes. So any doubts, any queries? It took almost 20 minutes extra. Yamini, Sanjita, Rajshri, Priyanka, Alian.
Yeah, I think Bharat, it's clear. But if we need, more practice, we will search and explore about the topics. We will get to know more about the terminologies and everything.
Yeah, please explore everything that is. I will share this presentation to all of you in the group, right? And please come up with your doubts. I think that if you come up with your doubt, I feel that you are doing something. But if you don't have any doubts, right, it
No,
makes
definitely we
sense
have
something
doubts,
different
but
to me.
yeah, we have to search and like explore this more, and then we can clear our doubt, or we can
Right.
ask to you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, then thank you very much for joining the session. We'll meet up again, right, for doubt clarification and all that. So see
Thank
you
you so
next week.
much.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye bye.
you so
Bharat.
much.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.